pledge.
Oh my God.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming. Just start of another month. Raise your hand if you've ever seen snow in October. Particularly around Halloween. Okay, roll call. John Hotchkiss here.
Joe Bailey here.
John Mullen here. All right. Minutes from the Board of Selectmen meeting, September 24th. I've already read them, so I'm all set.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes from September 24th as written.
Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
I have the non-public ones too.
Okay, I've also read the non-public ones. If you gentlemen are set, take a motion for them.
Sign it.
Yeah.
What did it happen to you, didn't it? Checks?
I missed stuff. I get that junior on there.
Yeah.
All right, is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the non-public of September 24th as written.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Next, the assessing clerk position.
Okay, so I only received one resume.
Can I guess?
This was the posting, it was posted on 9/12 until September 26th. It actually stayed on the NHMA website till today, and nothing. Talked to Avatar, they know nobody. So I don't know what you guys want to do about that. This is your only resume.
Well, we need an assessing clerk. Because Avatar's doing, I guess, the best they can,
Yes,
but
I don't know what we're paying them either.
no.
Haven't got that bill
Plus,
yet.
we're getting close to, what, tax time?
Yes.
Or, what, PRA time? They need all kinds of materials and blah, 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 blah. Like,
What is your pleasure? Do we discuss this?
certainly the applicant is certainly qualified, however, there's an, I mean, we could discuss it now, we could discuss it in non-public, I suppose. I don't know if you can or can't.
What is the however?
What is the however? This particular applicant already has a position here. So I don't know, I think we need to talk to the applicant maybe in terms of how that would affect that particular position. Or,
I'm less concerned with that, and more concerned whether we do it in public or non-public meeting.
I don't know how that
I
works.
don't see that as, anything that we do here at the town, like that's all public record anyhow. Wages and all that kind of stuff is all public record anyhow.
I think it's public.
So I think it's public too. My biggest,
Interview, I think, is private, but no, you can say who it is, you can say your
Okay,
concerns,
okay.
your interests, whatever, yeah, I think that's all
And-
public
and-
There we
knowledge.
go. Kathleen Blaney, current town clerk, tax collector, is interested in moving upstairs to assessing clerk. It would require filling the job down here, okay? So fill one job but create a vacancy, right? I believe she is willing to help overlap any way that's necessary, but I think she would like to be upstairs, okay? She is certainly qualified to meet the public and so forth. She would have to learn the ins and outs of assessing clerk, which she's certainly capable of doing. An interview with her would be appropriate. I'd be happy to have her go if she wants.
The concern, the issue issue that we have is what do we do with that office as well?
Right.
Right now, we have a deputy that is one day only, right?
Not willing to.
And it's not even a full day.
It's not even a full day anymore, and that's not criticism, that's just the way it is. So, the town needs a tax collector.
Right.
The town needs a town clerk. You gotta be able to collect the monies and deposit the monies, from all places, so you need that. So, I think, this is my thought process, that, in terms, right now, in terms of a town clerk, we could appoint, but it would only be until
Next election.
the next election. And, we could, and does MRI do stuff like that?
Oh, I have no idea.
You know who MRI was, that was that?
Do they do the assessor or the town clerk? Which one are you talking about?
Either one,
Either
either
one?
one.
We can reach out and find out.
Go ahead.
Who is MRI?
It's a management resource company that,
I was about to suggest.
works.
You remember Blandine?
She was from.
She worked for MRI when we had the,
Yeah, they come into towns where you're short of staff, whether it's
Temp agency.
huh?
A temp agency.
It's yeah, it's kinda like a temp agency, and they'll fill spots from
they're very.
town manager all the way down, if you're short of those. We need a tax collector, we need a town clerk.
Would it be smart, at one point, that job combination is a twofer, okay? And at one point, it was not a twofer, it was voted to make it,
Yeah, that's what the-
okay? Would it be smart if we took, because from my understanding from some conversations with Kathleen, it's a lot of work to do both, okay? Especially with people coming in, people trying to register, it's like really good, and it's not all the time, but it's still a lot of work. Would it be smart if we made the assessing clerk and the tax collector the same job instead of the town clerk, tax collector?
yeah.
Split it that way, so the town clerk only focuses on town clerk's duties, tax assessor, tax collecting, and the assessing problem, because they kinda go hand in hand.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've
I think
done,
that'll take a vote at the March meeting,
yeah,
because it was voted to put those two together. I think we would take
we could
a
separate.
vote in March to separate.
Separate.
On the short run, I believe Kathleen would be willing to help out down here until such time as we found someone to take the spot.
Well, that would be confirmed
Right.
in the interview, yeah.
Laura, have you heard of any, without actually asking, any interest from other area town clerks or tax collectors that might be looking for more hours?
Most of them are full-time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're rare, we're little, you know?
Yes.
I mean, I know MRI does mostly the technical town things like that, but I'd also suggest reaching out to somebody that's like Manpower. They have some highly qualified people who are just.
We can do that, I just, MRI usually, and some people don't like them. In the past, they provided, I think, when I came into the town, before we had a town administrator, we had a temporary guy here, and he wasn't proficient enough for many of us, or not me at the time. So, you know, the MRI is not cheap, they
That's
charge.
why I'm suggesting somebody like Manpower because.
Well, I don't know what kind of qualification, we certainly reach out to them, but there's other agencies that I would say we reach out to that are more aimed at jobs like this. Manpower certainly could reach out to them, but they have a broad breadth of candidates and jobs that they fill. I would kind of reach out to those who specialize in municipal government, because you would get a more qualified person, I would think.
Can you post for a another deputy in there? I mean, I know she's only on one, not even, I mean,
Well,
I think she
we,
works 7 hours now.
we should do that, I mean, that would be, first of all, one deputy is, for one day, does not, if the town, currently, if the town clerk / tax collector has a medical appointment, whatever it is, let's just, she has to go for something, and the offices are 8 to 5, that office is closed. So the only way they can get access to the office for certain things, but not everything, is the administrative assistant, which is you. They can't do registrations, they can't do stuff. They can take, I suppose you can take monies and hand a receipt, but that, and you've done that in the past, and it hasn't been a problem, but you know, the tax collector is the one who should be doing that, and not you. So, huh?
I agree.
Yeah, that's the way I'm going. So, even, let's say, the current tax collector and town clerk doesn't go, we should have another deputy that's
You
more, that should,
You had 2, and that girl, she left after a
Yeah,
month.
we had
That was
2.
working, cause you had flexibility
Right.
within the 3 to always have hours.
yeah.
Now you're not so lucky.
So that certainly helps the workload, and the workload for the tax collector increases significantly during tax time, the twice a year and all that other stuff, collecting taxes. Town clerk work activity increases tremendously during town meeting, elections, all that kind of stuff. So it may be wise for us to put out right now for another body to see if they wanna come in and help out. That could be anybody from anywhere, with the understanding that right now, we would still have a clerk if Kathleen is willing to do that until March. But then we would have a deputy clerk, and whoever steps up to the plate to run and wins, and we split the tax collector and the town clerk to make it more compatible with the assessor and tax collector. Might work out that way.
So just a quick question, I know like the tax collector / town clerk is an elected position.
Yes.
Is the assessor, so that all has to be, that would all have to be.
Well, she would,
No, I'm just saying
No,
going
no, I hear-
forward,
I
when
hear
you
you.
go to vote on that, then does
it's not
that?
tax, it wouldn't be a tax collector / assessor, the duties of, right, it would be, you would vote for the town clerk. And the tax collector, is that an elected position?
Yes.
Right,
And
what
you'd
she's
be-
saying is you'd have to change it.
Right.
Well, but you wouldn't add the assessor in there, right?
No, you would
No,
just
assessor
switch.
would be an additional
Collateral duty.
collateral duty.
Okay, I know, I was
No,
just,
Neil, that's a
I
good
just know
question.
because right now I know it's an elected, but then you're going, well, I guess it would be continue to be an elected position? when- Tax collector?
Town, that's what, after
So
March.
then tax collector would not be, you'd be.
You could say appointed.
Okay. Appointed, okay, which
Right.
would not mean it's voted on by the,
Right,
okay.
it would be appointed by
It
the,
would require a
by
vote
the
of the people.
governing,
Right.
to make
by
it
the
a
governing
vote.
body,
Okay,
by the governing body, which would be.
to split that, yeah, to split that out and then, okay.
So that would be something that, go ahead.
On the short run, I agree with posting for another part-time person. Beyond that, I think we're gonna move ahead with interviews for
Yeah.
Kathleen, and at that point, talk with her about what happens if
The
she goes
transition.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I believe that interview was non-public.
We can jump into
Okay.
the decisions are on.
So-
So we post for a deputy 5 days? How many days? I mean, I did quite a bit, got nothing on this, so I don't know if we should waste time.
Yeah, I could.
5 days?
Yes. Good.
And we'll come up
So
with
I'm gonna
something.
throw it out here, it's probably gonna be not, everybody's favorite idea, but, we've had other people run for that position, town clerk. but it behooved us to maybe reach out to somebody who maybe had been interested. in the past.
Absolutely, I mean,
Maybe step up and do it.
I would think that you would reach out to them and say, deputy.
I mean, they ran for it because they were interested and they didn't win, so now we have an opportunity to appoint somebody until the next election, maybe that's something we may wanna do too. Cause it may save us some footwork of getting somebody in here now. That's all I'm thinking.
yeah, because unfortunately, the lines of communication that we have unfortunately are not, and I'm not slamming anything, I mean, we don't have signs right now, town clerk position available.
No, but I do social media and that's
Yeah,
pretty
Facebook.
powerful. I can hit like 400 people in 20 minutes.
What's that?
Facebook.
I hope you all didn't get hacked.
Yeah.
Wish it
But I
would.
I can see that how many people
That
have
YouTube
looked at
both
that
get
post.
hacked, I'd be loving it. Especially some of the stuff I've seen on YouTube lately.
That's where I stuck it last time, and we got, what, three applicants last
Well-
time, I mean,
You know, I suppose that's a level, I mean, everything is social media today, so you certainly can, somebody can throw that out.
Okay,
Okay,
anything else from anybody?
Here's her,
How about an MS1?
we had another question.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we need to get a hold of her or talk to her, and
what's good for you guys?
what's good for us and what's good for her in terms of
You had a question?
No, Joanne had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Once again, not to beat a dead horse, but especially if you're going for another deputy clerk, you've got nothing to lose by going with the temp agency. Some of them that I've met, that I worked with, when I worked at temp agencies, can be highly qualified, you've got nothing to lose. And they can be hired as permanent afterwards.
we're gonna do that,
You need somebody that lives in this town for the town clerk to be permanent,
permanent,
even
yes.
to be able to run.
Even
She
for the
has to-
deputy though?
No,
No, but the deputy you'd hope would want to run right after you train
well,
them.
that-
Deputy's supposed to live in town.
No,
no.
but if you're thinking that you wanted that person to maybe possibly fill that position, you kind
Well,
of
that
want
would
that.
still,
unless you're wasting
that
more
would,
money.
that would still,
be a
that,
No.
here's the thing, the temp agency would get us over the hump
Right.
until March.
But you would still need to pay to train that person,
That is,
doesn't matter
that
who
is,
it
no
is.
matter who it is, that is
Right.
correct.
They don't come trained.
Even the temp may need some training, but more than likely, the temp agencies would provide us with somebody that's qualified and understands the position of town clerk. So, you know, we still should reach out to those agencies, but still, you would hope,
There's one that does accounting out of Manchester. They do
we'll,
accounting
we'll,
for some-
we'll research those and check those out, I think.
Okay, now MS1,
Okay,
please.
that's me. Okay, so Jonathan from Avatar completed our MS1, hallelujah.
Oh, well, it is.
So you need to sign that front,
What am I signing?
the MS1.
Don't worry, just sign it.
He doesn't know the junior. This is a preview one of the same thing, it's like broken down. I have no idea how to read this, so can't help you there. I'm just thankful he did it. This is the Sunrise Lake Village part. You don't sign this one, but I have to send them in together, I guess. I have to upload these when they're done.
You need somebody to sign the Sunrise Lake building?
Nope, he says there is nobody. I kept her email and I'm the contact. No, there's
Hey,
nothing.
the second nobody else on it.
He just said this, there's no place to sign. I don't know if it's because it's like a generic, I don't know.
It might be, like a supplement.
So do we know what our valuation was prior year? Do you have any idea?
Our valuation?
Yeah, our net asset valuation?
Yeah, it's 163 million.
Well, now it's up.
Of course it is.
Big
11%.
Yeah, it's up to, the net after less utilities and blah, blah, blah.
Check your
Our-
house
Our
values.
assessed
Yeah.
valuation is 182 million.
Well, that
That's,
school can be a big part of that.
Check your house values.
well, I'm just saying, that's
Our percentage.
gone, that's getting up to where, when I came in 2008, 2008, we were at that height, and then we went way down to 160. That doesn't,
Sign it?
that doesn't necessarily,
Yeah, 11%.
yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that your taxes are going up or going down when your assessment goes up or down. Has to do with the budget that you approve and the monies that you need to be raised. Not your assessment, up or down. It's what everybody says approves at town meeting, not only the budget,
Yeah.
but the warrant articles.
You know,
Warrant
trying to look at it.
can be as much as the budget. They can be, they have been, I know, I'm just saying, they have been in the past. Okay.
Yes, Sam.
Anything else,
Yeah,
Laura? That's it on the list, anything else? No?
No.
Okay. Under old business, I see penciled in Nelson project. Is that you, Rich? Is that why you're here?
Well,
John, we
Yeah,
got more
um,
information this afternoon
yeah.
on it, so John might as well.
yeah, I
start.
can, and Rick, you jump in here if I'm not saying something right. This has to do with the site work we're doing now, and we have a contractor who's been doing that work down there. What is it,
Nelson Companies.
Nelson Company. And Eddie Brennan has been kind of the project coordinator, watching that thing very closely. So if you recall, project still isn't done. There's a few things that need to be done, and Eddie put together a punch list of things that needed to be done and things that came up. If you recall, we authorized to have Norway Plains go down there and check
Yes.
on the work, okay. So, most of these, out of the 7, most of them are pretty, a few of them are pretty easy to do. They're not hard to do and difficult. But Norway Plains has found that the gravel wetlands, which is down in the front of the site near Ridge Road in the left-hand corner, there's a
So-
settlement pond
So
back
by
there.
Ridge Road and Terrio's property.
Terrio's property, yes. It is too far by 13 feet to Terrio's property, too off by 13
It's
feet.
on Terra's property.
No,
No, it's
it's
too close.
It
Should be
was
13
it was
feet.
misplaced.
Okay.
Also, the burn on it is a foot short.
Okay.
That gravel wetland has all kinds of, what do you call those things? There's things in the pond and
That's
there's
all underground
drainage,
drainage pipe goes in the big
drainage
catch
pipes
basin.
and all this other kind of stuff in there. If he just raises the burn where it presently is at, to have the proper slope of that 1 foot is going to cause some problems going into the abutter's property. So, that needs, it is not the plan. It's not the plan. So, that needs to be addressed. The rest of, that's item 5 on this list. It needs to be addressed. I'm not sure they know about it yet, but they will tomorrow because
Who is
Nelson, huh?
Who is they?
Nelson,
Nelson,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Right.
Nelson is coming up, they said they would be coming up to do some work tomorrow, rain or shine, I guess, so.
By the sounds of it, yeah.
Sound of it, so Rick and I are gonna go down there and talk to the Nelson group and talk about the punch list and talk about the gravel wetlands, because we think that correcting that is going to be a pretty big expense.
For whom?
Not us.
Because we're already withholding money.
Well, we're withholding money because you're supposed to, theoretically, I don't think there was anything in the contract, theoretically complete the job by September 30. There's a lot of things to be done here. There's things like,
Well, Nelson has done the work, and part of it's wrong.
he hasn't done all the work, no, it hasn't all been completed, and this one has been discovered by Norway Plains that it is wrong.
So it's up to them to fix it.
It's up for them
They're
to
gonna
fix
get
it.
paid.
Yeah.
Or don't get paid and
That is,
someone else do it.
well,
The problem is, what's gonna happen, I think what we're held back for the final payment is right around $14,000. We're talking probably a good 40, 50.
21.
How much?
The one we're holding right now, we still owe
21,000, and I
another
think for
11.
them to fix this, it's probably gonna cost them twice as much as that. They'll probably just walk
So
away.
what we're gonna do tomorrow, is see Mr. Nelson. Tell him this is the problem. Pick him up off the floor, if he sees this, and say, how you gonna fix this? I guess that's what
Rick, without holding you to it, it sounds like we have 21,000 plus another 11,000.
we're gonna do. 11, yeah.
That's 32,000. If they don't do it, can we get it done?
It's hard to really say, some of the 21,000 that we're holding is for work that they've
They're
done,
already done.
that's correctly done.
Mhm.
Some of the 21,000 we're holding, but,
Care if it's done correctly
Reach
or
the
not.
contract.
The job's not gonna, the whole job is not done correctly.
right,
Well,
You're not gonna
before,
pay for Parsons, the right Parsons, the Parsons sit out, you're not gonna pay for that? No.
well, I don't know how that's gonna hold up in court for you, that's what
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
we'll
fairness,
find out.
in fairness to Mr. Nelson, let's just
See what he says.
Yep.
But, again, that's why Eddie asked for what he asked for. He never got in on the project to do any of the layout at all for him, until he realized they needed assistance laying this out. They started on the ponds themselves without anybody. But they got plans right there, like everyone had, and plans are the same plans that Eddie went by, that Norway Plains designed, it's the plans that Norway Plains used when they went back down to check the site. Stuff's off 13 feet, that's only one person's fault, and it's not us.
So Nelson Company had those plans?
Of course they did.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, so that's the,
The whole job was bid off of these plans.
Yeah.
no, but I'm just saying, so it's like it's not like they can say, you know, plans.
We didn't know.
Right,
We
yes,
knew.
right.
And the site from that point
So,
was laid out by Eddie, like the building where that's
according
going
to
and other stuff.
Norway Plains, that pond is 13 feet too far to the left of the
That's-
site.
That's the information that I got, was on my desk this morning, right there.
How big is the pond? Size of this room? Size of the
Oh, no,
building?
no.
Well, there's two, there's two, basically, there's one big, one good sized pond with a divider in the middle with a catch basin structure on the other
I
side.
don't know how big it is, it's pretty good
It's
stuff.
in there, it's good
We gonna
stuff.
put a fence around that?
I was thinking the same thing.
What's that?
Put
No,
a fence around it.
no, because no children are allowed on the property.
I'm not even gonna go there.
Rick, as big as this building?
Yeah.
Probably at least that, yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah, divided in the middle.
There. These are the two ponds that we're talking about. Okay, and there's a lot of stuff in here and stuff in here. This whole thing is 13 feet too far this way. And the burn is too low.
1 foot too low.
1 foot too low. And why is that important? Because when during an event, the water will fill up and it's designed to take a certain amount of water flow and that has to be a foot higher. So you go a foot higher, then your slope requirements for this change. They broaden out, they get wider and the slope different. So this has to be, on this print, it's correct. So apparently Norway Plains says it's 13 feet this way too far.
This is not my area of knowledge at all, so I'll ask you a very simple question. If this thing is 13 feet too far one way, can't you keep most of it, add 13 feet here and close in 13 feet here?
Well, the thing about these ponds is that in these ponds, in the bottom of these ponds, there's all kinds of piping that's in the bottom of the
You'd
ponds.
have to put some more piping on here.
Yeah, and I don't know if we can
That's a
just
simple
add, if we can
answer.
just add them or not, see, that's things that we can address with him tomorrow, we'll see
Okay.
exactly, which way it's gotta go, but what them are is this whole site is designed, cause for the EPA and DES and stuff today, we all know how it is. All the water on that site that flows
Stay on the
goes
site.
into them ponds before it goes off that site.
Remember, the slope of this whole property, you can see by these contour lines here, all this, it goes right down this way, as does Ridge Road when you start going down there, so it all flows this way. So those catch basins are in the ideal spot to catch overflow that's gonna be on the property.
Okay.
And so, yeah, one question would be say, well, just like you said, just cut it off and move that in, but then you would violate, I don't know how that would affect the AOT.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't believe you're gonna be able to do that, because the end that you're gonna wanna cut off is the end that's closer to the abutter, and that's where that structure is.
Well,
So you wouldn't be able to just fill to the structure, you see what I'm saying? That's what the
Yeah,
structure,
and this-
so I guess you probably wouldn't be able to, I don't think, unless you
And
do
I
the
don't-
structure too.
I don't know, I would assume that this would have some impact from the AOT, because this was an AOT, an alteration of terrain. You gotta get a permit from DOS,
Yes.
DES, sorry. So, we'll have to find out about that, because we did file an AOT on that. And so, we're just gonna have to, talk to Mr. Nelson tomorrow and see what happens.
Sounds good, come back to us and,
I would like to make if this happens and they fix it, I still think if we have to have, no way planes come back again to verify that they corrected it the right way, that they pay for it, not the town of Middleton.
they being Nelson.
Nelson
Yeah.
pays for it out of theirs. I don't think we should have to pay, keep paying surveys to come over to check their work,
To verify it.
to verify that they've done the job correctly, so I think that's something that should be on the record.
Is that not correctly?
Yeah, so.
All right, well, any other comments? Anybody? Good luck, John. Okay.
Yeah.
Rick, out of deference to you, is there anything that you'd like to know that's not listed here?
Yeah, I just got some,
Don't have to be here.
some prices and some estimates for this Japanese knotweed that we've got growing in town. We've got 2 locations right now, and this out here is spread by about 380 feet from where it used to be. It's gone all the way down almost to the borough's property. It's all on this side still.
What is it?
Japanese knotweed, it's an invasive species. There's really only one way of getting rid of it is getting companies in here, and Burke's Tree Service, one that does our tree service for us, is now certified and licensed to do this kind of stuff. So I brought a guy named Jerry, he come around, we rode around, and there's another spot over by you on Lincoln Road, if you notice, across from the Gordon residence on the corner. Her whole mailbox is completely surrounded by it.
Right.
That's one of the reasons, another reason why we're checking into possibly getting rid of it. When I first thought about looking at getting rid of it, first thing you think is gonna cost a whole ton of money. But in all reality, in my opinion, it's not that bad. I mean, and in the same process of getting a price on getting rid of the knotweed, I talked to Laura about the Christmas trees over there. I know over the past, the Urban Tree had done some work on them trees, and now there's nobody else doing any more work on the trees. And if you look at them, they're going back to the state that they were before. Urban was tending the trees. This one closest to us is starting to die up quite a ways. So we looked at that too, and he gave us prices on that. The Japanese knotweed, it's a 2-step process. Both locations, to do both locations right now would be $1,350. That's one shot on here and one shot over there. And pretty much a guarantee that he's gonna have to come back in 2019. And this next shot after that will be half of the $1,350, so 6 1/4. And the trees over here, that's 2 steps too. Right now, being in the fall, what he wants to do is neutralize the soil where the roots are, stabilize them for the winter. And then he comes back here in like June of next year, and that's when they spray all the tree, the needles and all. That's the second step of taking care of the trees, but you wouldn't do that now because it's too late going into the winter time. So
Right.
we're just looking at doing the roots. So basically, if you wanted to do the knotweed and one of the shots on the trees over there, it's gonna cost you about $1,650. If you wanna sign into getting the one shot on both the Japanese knotweed locations, and for next year, the half of the $1,350, and both of the things done over there this year and for next year, you're gonna spend $26.75.
Okay.
And that takes into your next year's shot on the knotweed for the 2019 and your tree treatment also.
What is the downside of the knotweed, not first of all?
It's just gonna keep going and going and going.
Is it a vine, is that what it is?
It's right up, no, it's not a vine, it's bamboo in my opinion. If you look at it, it looks like bamboo, and when out here by the PD, it used to be by their driveway and maybe just down in Kremen's mother's house. Now it's all the way down,
So what does it do? Does
it just spreads and it
grows,
grows
No,
taller.
but does it,
It
does
displaces native.
does it hinder drainage, what does it?
Well, these are in the drainage ditch here, so it doesn't help the drainage at all, and that's one of the reasons why it's spreading so bad, because right now they're in the seed state. If you go out there and look at it and see all the seeds on there, when it rains, they fall down in that drainage ditch, and then when the rain comes, it pushes it all the way down the ridge road. That's why it's almost into the swamp. It's an invasive species, exactly what it says in the title. Eventually, it's gonna just take over huge chunks of area. Right now, we're about 6 to 8 feet wide on the road, 580 some odd feet down here. And the same over there on Lincoln Road, but like he said, it's gonna go every year. Next thing you know, you could be 16, 18, 20 feet wide down the road further, cause it just keeps, it's invasive species. It's taken over a lot of places. It'll kill anything that's natural to this area. Anything in that area won't grow. This is gonna take over everything. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like with the bittersweet.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones, a lot of people have ignored it. The New Hampshire DOT has actually taken on a program through UNH, they've done some stuff through them that they're doing. A lot of towns around us have signed on to programs like this. When he left here, he was going to 2 other towns when he left here, because they're realizing that it is spreading as bad. I didn't realize it was spreading that bad. Marcia Stevens brought it to my attention, thought it was poison sumac, which I knew it wasn't poison sumac, it was some kind of bamboo, but it's identified as this Japanese knotweed, which is an invasive species. And if you remember, a few years back, Randy Talon was in here, because we went out with a brush hog and we mowed, we didn't know what it was. When we mowed it, that didn't help it a bit, that made it worse over on the Lincoln Road area. So we got educated by this a few years back. And now these areas have been invaded, basically, is what they're saying. You
So
can
the
see it in the pictures.
DOT, state DOT has a program on state roads. DES probably is involved with this, I suppose.
This is all, I got the paperwork here, it's all certified, it's
Okay.
all legal, it's whatever they use, it costs, everything's gonna turn brown, but it's not something that's gonna get into your water source or anything else. Obviously, you gotta be a certain amount of distance from the water source, no matter what you use. We're way outside of any drinking water facilities.
Okay,
But it's all DES, EPA and all that, and this guy's certified and licensed to spray it and whole 9 yards. You can't just,
but we do down here drain into Jones Brook though, right?
it goes into this swamp right here, yeah.
Okay. Question, to the trees. What's he say that the problem is?
It's a fungus. Basically, it's a fungus. I got the papers here if you want, if you guys
No,
want
no,
these
just,
papers.
it's a fungus.
Yeah, that's what's on the
Needs
needles.
sprayed.
Right, the needle.
What did we do last time? What was the problem?
I don't know if they sprayed the needles last time, Laura, or did they just inject a tree, or I
They
never.
treated the ground.
Okay, see, he wants to treat the ground, and then in June come back and actually spray the whole tree. That's where the fungus is, on the needles of the tree. If you look at them, that's where it is. This guy sounded really intelligent about all this. He taught me some stuff. I mean, he knows a lot more about it than I would ever know.
I bet you not take chainsaw to shoot.
Did that work the last time they
I
tried it?
thought that's.
I think it started to come into it, but then I believe like this guy said, it's
All right,
something you gotta stay on.
did he say that, the dead tree, the pine trees don't recover too well, do they?
It's not a pine tree, it's a Colorado spruce.
Well, whatever it is.
And
Okay.
a Colorado,
Let me say
a
this.
Colorado
Let me
spruce is
back
from
up.
Middleton, New
The
Hampshire.
conifer that we have out there, is that?
The what?
The conifer?
Yes.
It's a conifer.
Yes, it is.
That's like saying you're a guy and she's a girl. That's it.
Or you can call it an ornamental tree if you want. I mean, we can get
Whatever
real
it is.
fancy.
The conifer, it won't recover from what's dead now.
Right. Without some kind of treatment, they just both are gonna
So the
disappear
treatment,
eventually.
the treatment on the conifers, and that would be on the tree that is stressed.
Both
A
trees.
good way to- I know you wanna do that. That's stressed, the other one is starting to get stressed. How much is that to do that?
That's gonna be, if you wanna get this year's, the root system done, and next year's spraying of the needles, is $650.
Total?
Right. And
Per
then,
tree?
no, that's total for both trees.
Okay, so that's the root for this year, and then $650 for the fungicide spray in the spring.
That's the total of the whole bill. is-
It's $300 to do the soil, and it's $350 to spray the trees.
Okay. So
So
it's
it'd be for
just
$650.
$650.
Then he'll monitor them,
I'm slow.
That's
and,
okay.
and he monitors this stuff
Well,
himself.
going around.
You don't have to monitor them, he'll monitor them, and he'll keep us heads up on it.
Okay.
And it may need more than that.
Me personally, I'd like to try to save the tree if we could save it, even if it's kind of funky. Because if that tree is gone, or the other one is gone,
No, we can't do anything with the other one. The other one's a good tree.
that's what I mean. I don't wanna protect the good tree, I don't want the fungus to get over to the other tree.
Well, it's starting to get into the
So
other
we
tree
kill-
too.
Well, I think we kill the first tree, cause it's affecting the second tree.
Take down the
But the
first one,
fungus
get rid
would
of it,
still
treat the
move
soil,
over.
and save the
It's
second
coming
one.
from the
But you
soil.
might be able to
too.
save the first tree.
No, can it be recouped?
So,
The first tree, the
No,
bad tree
won't
that's on
get
the
any
side?
worse.
There's no-
according to him, he can recruit both of them.
Oh.
But then again, you know, it's this,
Yeah,
he does them, and then you're gonna have to monitor them. You may have to come back, and you might have to either inject the ground again, you may have to spray them again, you know what I mean?
every
You
year,
can save the tree.
every year thereafter.
Well, I don't think it would be every single year. I think once you get it killed, the fungus, it sounds like once you
How
get
come
it
it didn't
all
kill
out,
the
then it's
first
all gone.
He didn't follow up the treatment.
And she
Yeah,
just
really
said
did.
all it did was a root system.
Okay, that answers it. Okay, one more question for you, Rick, if I may.
Sure.
The knotweed thing, what is that? There were numbers flying around there. What is that, 1,200, 1,500 or something?
It's $13.50 to do both locations this year.
Yeah,
Knowing that he's have to come back, there's no doubt about it, either later on in this fall or possibly next year, but he's thinking if he gets onto it right off quick, he'll be able to tell if anything's gonna live after this first hit. And it'll be half of the $13.50, so another, that's what you pay again. So the whole total, if you did everything, signed up for it all, it's like $26.75,
and that comes out of where?
your pocket.
Go.
Thanks, Johnny, go ahead and do it.
I know that, but I mean,
That'll come out of the pruning of the trees line, which has got $1,450 left in it. And the balance of $12.25 would come out of the $43.11.30, which is your block grant money.
that's what I was asking.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Joe. Down at the bottom of the hill, the Hotchkiss Commons is separated by some growth before, it used to be the SAUs, now Kindle, okay? There's a species, you're correct, it's bamboo, that grows right up close to the road, so you can't see to pull up. We got a person going there with a brush hog, cut it off. A week later, it's growing back up. 3 weeks later, you can't see. Comes in with a brush hog. Time after time, so the chainsawing is not gonna kill it. It just keeps on growing.
And this out here, it's getting harder for the PD to look to the right as
Yeah.
you come out of that parking lot. And we have tried our due diligence with Roundup. It doesn't that doesn't do nothing to it.
That's
It just keeps growing.
exactly why the PD needs to move out of here. Over to.
All because of an invasive species, right?
Lazy.
Wow.
Alright,
I think this $26.50 is a lot cheaper than $500,000 or $1 million to move them, don't you?
Yeah, but in the long haul, yeah. Only kidding.
more comments from anybody? Joe? Besides chainsawing?
Besides change.
No, I'm saying, I know it's Colorado blue spruce and it's nice tree, stuff like that, but at the same point, I mean, how much money you must spend to save a tree? If we get rid of the bad one, treat the soil so it saves the second one, I'd knock it down. And that way, if we have to treat one instead of treating two. Then you have no guarantee.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Seriously,
If I may, bring another question. So if we do, the root for 2 trees would be, what's it, 20, whatever it is, $2,000, right?
No,
That includes
$6.50.
Japanese.
that's for everything. That's for your trees and your.
we're just talking about the 2 trees.
Okay, I'm not talking about the
Japanese stuff.
Japanese
So
root now,
$6.50.
I'm not talking about that, so what I'm thinking, okay. We're gonna spend 2,000, whatever we're gonna spend on the trees, right? No, 1,650 on the
No.
trees.
No,
$6.50.
$6.50. That's it, $6.50.
Oh, yeah, that's right, on the trees, and then if we, that's including the root,
Treatment.
and the spray in
And
June
the
of next
spray.
year, both trees.
I wonder how much and how big a blue spruce tree you could get for $650.
No, it would be like 325, because you still have to treat one of them.
So hold on though, so you buy a $325 nice tree and put it in a fungi ground, and
Right?
you kill the
You treat the
$325 tree.
ground, you treat the ground.
So you lose
So
money.
you
So
still
you're
get
still
that.
spending $650,
I would
then
put
you
a Colorado blue
$325.
spruce back in there.
No, that's the thing,
Little
it's
bulb,
Colorado
it's not
Blue
native.
Spruce, it's not one from this area.
Wherever does that.
I can dig one up from my yard and bring it down for you.
But I will say, we're one of the only towns that I know of around here that's got a natural tree that's there every year to decorate, rather than somebody has to go donate a tree and we gotta put it up somewhere out
Even
there.
Wolfboro's gotta bring a tree in.
So I mean, that's the only advantage you do got, you got natural trees, you put your stuff on them every year, you don't have to have a tree transported in here and find a place to put it.
I would say do the fun.
And then again, that's only one tree, so I mean, we do got two.
And this would
Give it
probably have
another
to be
year,
done
Joe.
each year.
Just another year.
Yes, probably each year,
Well, so you kill the fungi.
year after year, we have to do this.
Well, we're not sure, like you said, you know, we gotta give it a shot first. And now basically knowing that what they did is just injected the roots. So these trees have never seen the spray on the needles, so who knows, maybe we oughta, like John, maybe just try it,
Right.
see if it comes back for the $650, if it don't, then maybe we cut our ties on one of the trees, because it sounds to me like the needles have never been treated.
Got bait and fish, is that what they say? Or got fish and bait or something? I don't know.
You know me and trees, Joe, I'd cut every one of them.
Either way, you're gonna have to choose.
My man.
All right, I say go ahead.
Other comments from folks?
I think
Sounds
give another
trees.
year, Joe.
Tony,
Not talking big bucks at all, by a long shot,
right,
and part of it's paid by, oh, that's for the other. You're talking about the integrity of the front, the major front of this town is in front of the,
Give it a shot. Yeah.
and give it a shot for 1 year. And if it becomes a problem, then slash them down and start all over again with something that would, again, be something that would look good at that spot in front of the new town hall.
Hey, I'm not an opinion, you guys vote, do what you wanna do.
They was planted by someone, I'm not sure if it was June Brown that planted them or not, but someone planted them.
right.
Just make a motion, make a motion to cut it.
Two comments. First, living on a farm in Goffstown, I'm aware of what it takes to save a tree. We had one of the biggest elm trees in New Hampshire, and it was a yearly expense. Okay, so this might well turn into yearly, but on the short run, I'm willing to give it a try, all right? Beyond that, you need only look at some old photos of that big flag flying, and you will not see those trees there. There are other trees there.
Yep, there were
So
two
Joe, at
elm,
some point,
there were two elm trees there.
at some point, those trees might go and get something else. On the short run, I'm willing to give it a try and see if it helps.
So that answers the tree part of it, you guys want to do, what about the
Oh,
Japanese
definitely
bamboo?
that stuff.
Not weed,
Japanese bamboo.
yeah, the last
It's a
name.
bamboo type thing.
If anyone has traveled down south, you will see an invasive vine that kills trees and goes, not a mile or two, it goes for 50, 100 miles.
Virginia is the worst, right?
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah. Anybody else seen it?
Yeah, well, that was Spalding Turnpike.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
It's everywhere,
It's
but
eating
there's
you
been a
up.
sweet, and there's also grapevines everywhere
Yeah,
too.
it will kill the tree.
You'll
Not
just go
just-
up and just,
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
So, I'd like to see that stuff gone.
all right, do we need a motion or anything?
Any other discussion? Otherwise, I'm looking for,
I make a motion, we expend no more than $2,675 to eradicate the invasive species knotweed and to expend money to treat our Christmas trees. Oh, sorry, can't say Christmas trees.
Yes, you
Holiday
can.
trees.
Our blue spruce trees in front of the old town hall.
now it's 650.
Conifer.
The
Well, the
that 26 figures everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Is there a second?
I will second that. Okay.
I reluctantly second.
Okay. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright.
So it's 2675 you had there, right, John?
Yes, I did.
And that's for all of it, there's
Yeah.
not another 6 something for the
That's-
trees,
yeah.
so.
Milfoil's a lot more expensive than that.
Over 5 grand
Yeah.
a year, right? Either way.
That's really annual there.
And I know a guy who'll burn it.
Okay, Rick, anything else?
That's, all I have is that, and then the site, and we've already done that, so.
Okay. Go ahead before we move on.
Talk about the vine that's along Spalding Turnpike. We've got it across the road from us there, at the end of our new Portsmouth driveway. It's that vine that you see on the Spalding Turnpike that just covers trees and swallows them and kills them, and so.
Just up this,
I don't know if there's any easy eradication of that, because it's all over town, I mean, it's not,
Right,
but I was just wondering if you were aware of that one. It's taken us 6 years, but we've been able to eradicate it as far as I can tell on our property.
right. I haven't really noticed that one down in there as much as I have these
On-
bamboo things that are coming up.
Between the road and Ramsey's Pond.
Right. I'm sure this company would have a fix for that too, but.
it's widespread.
It's so widespread now.
Yeah, I think I might have some down on my property too, it climbs right up to trees, it climbs up a telephone pole, and I just cut it off at the bottom and it dies. Just cut
That
it.
one dies.
Can't really pull it out of there, it's wrapped around there so much you can't get it out, so I just cut it and it seems to, it dies all the way to the top, but you still can't pull it out of it. They're worse than grapevines, I think.
All right, since we've started at the bottom, let's go up. Old Town Hall update,
Town Hall update, it,
please.
basically is open for business. What we have left to do in there, and I'm going to, put something on the town website, we need some volunteers to do a couple things. We wanna get the front, where the clapboards are, we wanna get that painted, I've already talked to, and I have the paint to paint it, just paint it white. But Rick, I haven't talked to you about this, but I'll talk to you about this now. What about the community service from Stratford County? Is it too late, or?
I'm not sure if it's too late or just how busy that they're at right now, but I can make a call down
Okay,
there.
I'll talk to you tomorrow about that.
Yep.
It won't take them, it'll take them less than a day to just go around and, we just wanna get it covered.
Just the new stuff, right?
Just
for
the
now.
new stuff, we don't need to scrape, we don't need to do, just cover the new stuff. Those clapboards are primed, 360 degrees. So you don't need a prime, we can just prime it. We're getting the library all cleaned up. I've asked the fire department to take out their chairs, they have about 30 chairs left in there. The only thing we have left to do in the building right now, and that goes and coincide with the kitchen, is painting.
Windows are in?
Windows are in.
Good.
Everything, the door closers are in. The only other thing is, we need to do some plastering on the old staircase to the chapel on the walls, but that can do as we
Does
go
the
along.
ceiling in the kitchen need to be touched up? in
Yeah, it does.
places?
Yeah, it does need to be touched up, because he did that. But that's just, we need a weekend, well, let me put it this way. Trim is a little bit more delicate than just slapping paint on a wall, so we're gonna do that. The other things, I just wanna throw this out because we're on the website, the things that I would like to see done in that old town hall is in the crawl space to kinda clean it out a little bit. I would like to replace the 5-gallon bucket that holds the sump pump in the main building with a regular sump, basin. It can be as small as 18 inches deep, but I think we do that and then put gravel around that. I have been monitoring, I bought a humidity modifier, monitoring the humidity down there, see how bad it is. We could put plastic on the basement, just lay it on the floor like we did in the kitchen. That would probably cost a couple $100 and labor. And it's dirty under there. Also, we could put a dehumidifier in there, and a good dehumidifier. We can have an electrical hookup there, I already talked to the guy about that. 200 $170 for a pretty good size, not a commercial one. Commercial ones go for $1,000. Just get a good heavy-duty, energy-efficient dehumidifier and run it, and then just run a hose right into the thing to try to keep the humidity down as best we can. It's gonna be a lot, it's not damp down there, cause that new foundation blocked everything off, but the more water we have, we wanna keep that away. And a sump pump over underneath the kitchen. The electrical is already there, and I think why I'm saying that we need volunteers to get in there, down there and dig. So I think I'll put something together, throw it on the website, see who wants to come down there. I'm not talking to you,
That's,
but, you know, we got a lot of young people in the town who could spend a Saturday going down there and clean that up pretty quickly. And then, that's it, we're ready to go. The only thing we have left to do, I think, besides, I haven't finalized the financial thing that we're working on. I have it in rough, but I'll have it to the board on our next selectman meeting that we'll have in a couple weeks, or I think, whenever that,
We're missing 2 meetings.
missing 2 meetings, so I'll have that ready
The
for you at
last
the time.
Monday.
I'm moving on because they're connected together. The kitchen, we're still, the only expense that came in that wasn't here before is, the cabinets the one cabinet we purchased, that was about $300. So we're at about 32,000 without the freezer. So we can get a freezer in there for about under, or close to $500. This would be a 17 cubic foot upright freezer that's energy efficient, reversible doors.
They will deliver it?
They will deliver,
Okay.
free delivery.
who's that from?
Lowe's, that's with our 10% off. Yeah, so that's it. We do have mats down there now, floor mats. We're getting some extra mats, 1 extra mat for the kitchen door. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about is, we have an election coming up in about 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. This is state election, not a town election. We were going to put we still are, I believe that's the plan, is to put the handicap access through the kitchen. Okay, that requires a major platform, ramp. And talked to the contractor, but also talked to the highway department / public works about the, doing the parking lot again. And it would be best to wait until the parking lot and the drainage is set before we put the ramp in. We could set the ramp on posts, footers, foots. We could adjust it so that it could, if something moved, we could adjust it. So that leaves us no ramp, ADA ramp. So, trying to hook up with Doug Gregory to build a temporary ramp in the front, where we have that temporary ramp. And my calculation shows it's gotta go out about 11 foot from the building. Where that goes right now, if you go by the front of the building, you can see where the pavement stops in the dirt. That's where so it goes right to the edge of that. That would be temporary until the highway, the pavement is done and we put the other ramp in there. We would have to put rails up. I don't think there would be a lot of money involved with that.
Would this be left there until the new one is built?
Yes.
Or would it be taken down after the elections? Go back to
I
the
would
old?
leave it there until the new one is up.
I would be concerned 11 feet out,
Well,
could be in the way of plowing.
Well, I've already talked to the highway department and public works, and we've worked out a solution to that being that this is a temporary thing, I had 2 concerns. I had a concern about snow, and what Rick has said, for this temporary thing, he could come and just pull the snow away and go forward with it. The other thing, I had a safety issue of it being so far out, we can put barricades up to make sure that, you know, that cones, people run over cones, but people would kinda stay, but we've got barricades we can put up temporarily until that's set. You could take it down afterwards, after the election, but it wouldn't, it still wouldn't be compliant. It's not compliant now, people are getting it.
How tough is it to come out and turn it? Too much
Well,
work.
you gotta have a, I think that would be harder to build. Because this 11-foot, you could get a 10-foot stringer with just all they did there is they ran, just from the edge of the building, a stringer down onto a post, just kinda, they didn't stick it down a foot, just stuck it down there, kinda just let it sit on the ground. So you could get a 12-foot stringer, run it out, and be down on the ground, hard enough. So I gotta get with Doug this week and get a figure on that. I don't think that would be a difficult thing, and that would solve our ADA, because if we don't have ADA accessible to an election site, we could be in violation of election law. And we want the election in there.
Yes, we do.
I don't think it would be
Alright,
major. Okay, I'm done with that.
alright. While we're on it, let's talk about Old Town Hall rental agreement, and then we'll do
Okay.
ordinances.
I don't think we need to make a decision on this tonight, but I think maybe on our next meeting we should, but I drafted up. I took a look at our policy, I did talk to some residents, what they thought about what we should be doing, and our current policy is, we kinda rent it to everybody. If you read the policy, actually, residents that, like the coffee clutch that goes there on Wednesday, technically, according to they need to pay rent. But we don't charge them. Most towns, not all, but most towns, if it's a local civic organization, are allowed to use their community facilities for free. Some towns, and I didn't put it in here, some towns require, even if an organization comes in, they require insurance. I haven't explored that, I mean, I'm sure some organizations do have insurance, but I don't know if the Boy Scouts have insurance. I don't know, I certainly know that the Village Vinters that go over there, that's just a group of residents that wanna come down. What if a bunch of residents wanna go in there and talk about, I don't know, the stars or something, or whatever they wanna use it for? No, they don't have that. So I've kind of set who authorized users, and I'll just read these real quick. And I'd like the board to take a look at these and kind of digest them. There you go, right there. Did I give you one? Okay. The Board of Selectmen or their designee shall approve the use and users of the hall, which kind of gives us the authority to kind of change things a little bit. Middleton residents, property owners, and local civic organizations are authorized to use the hall for public functions at no cost, provided they are open to the public. What I was trying to say, and I think it was mentioned here last time, that if it's open to the public, it says local residents, they can use it for free. If a resident or non-residents conduct private functions, birthday party, a wedding or whatever, they gotta pay. But they're authorized to rent it at prescribed fees. So here's what I said about a rental fee. A local registered nonprofit organization not charging admission shall not be charged a rental or a cleaning fee, because I have a cleaning fee in there. Local civic organizations, formal or informal, shall not be charged a rental fee, it's a cleaning fee. It's a town building. This is what I think, that the town has expended money on that building as a public building. The public should not be charged for their public use, I don't think. Local civic ordination should not be charged a rental or a cleaning fee. Town of Middleton departments, boards and commissions should not be charged a rental fee or a cleaning fee. When we come in here for training, we don't have the administrative officers paid for that, it's just part of the building. The wording here can be changed. Local registered nonprofit organizations, Boy Scouts, or residents or property owners conducting a private function shall be charged a rental fee of $100. That's what we charge now. Some towns charge more, some towns charge less for a one-time use of the hall. Then we have a schedule here, which is different. Now remember, that first one, that $100 is for local registered nonprofit organizations or residents or that are conducting a private function. So if you have a Tufts function, you would pay the $100, and you would pay
So
cleaning fee.
So will the rec committee have to pay that $100?
No, because that's a local organization,
Open to the public.
open to the public.
Okay.
Now,
So that's, to me,
I know what
that one, that's kinda confusing to me, say, yeah, say no here, but to me, it doesn't, it kinda think, made me think, well, now I have to pay.
the only ones that have to pay, if it's a private function, your functions are not private. Now, there are fundraisers that we conduct. The Old Home Association conducts a fundraiser. You follow me there? The rec department does things, the fire department raises for the fees. So let me move on here. Non-residents can use the hall. They're charged $150, okay? No more than 75 people can occupy the hall. If more than 50 people will be attending the function, the Middleton Police Department will be notified. Security deposits, non-residents, residents and property owners are private functions. So if Tufts has a private function, we want the security fee. And what we do with the security fee is we cash the check. We take the funds and we deposit them into a specific account. Once your function is finished, somebody from the town of Middleton or the town of Middleton designee will conduct the inspection within 24 hours. The function is over. What's that?
Mine's different things. That's okay,
You don't have the draft.
yeah, I don't have anything, okay.
That's different. So, that would be done, and if there was anything, and then if it was cleared, your security deposit would be refunded with a check from the town. That's to prevent people who possibly, I wouldn't think they would do this, but some may, they stop the check because some damage was done, so. Parties charge a rental fee must submit okay, that talks about that. Cancellation, that doesn't change anything. If you cancel, the way the town has set up, cancel within 24 hours, you can pay $30. If you cancel less than 24 hours, you forfeit the whole thing. And I said if you cancel greater than 24 hours, all your fees are returned. Application, so forth and so on. There has always been an indemnification clause. This protects the town in the sense that, I hereby permit the town and we're not to claim anything if somebody beats somebody up or something to that. Some towns want an insurance, like a bond, but you won't do that. I don't know if we wanna go that route at this point. We can talk about it. The charging fee, the cleaning fee, $25 for those private organizations. Because it'll cost us $25 to clean it properly, the bathrooms. I don't expect a function person to clean the bathrooms per se. We expect them to clean up the trash and empty the trash. Let's see, other things in here. Okay, decorations. No items are to be affixed to the walls of the ceiling, because if they are, alarms go off at my house, red lights go off, and I'll be running up there. operations are allowed on the tables and chairs using only 3M command products or equivalent. No Scotch tape or equivalent, which shall be completely removed at the end of the function. No confetti or other similar items shall be strewn about. That's common sense. Okay. Use of the stage not allowed unless you have permission from the town. No candles or open flames. Steno is allowed. Okay. Or whatever that's called, sterno or steno. No access shall be allowed on the second floor without permission. All windows should remain closed and locked. There is no reason now to open the windows at all. Because it's air conditioned. No reason to open them at all. All rooms will be left clean, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the thing is, now, I haven't talked to you about this, but I threw this in here. Trash should be neatly bagged in renter's own plastic trash bag. What it said currently is leave it at the back of the kitchen, inside the kitchen. I don't want trash left in the kitchen. So I said, place in the trash dumpster next to the highway department. Do not leave food in the refrigerator, including condiments. So if there's a function there, that's, right now, I haven't talked to Rick about that, I haven't talked to you guys about that, but put the trash in the trash dumpster. Or we could say, take in, take out. You could do that. All tables and chairs and appliances and cookware shall be returned to the way they were found. We'll do a little pictogram on where they're supposed to go. No equipment is allowed to leave the old town hall without permission of the town of Middleton. We've had people borrow stuff, tables disappearing. Okay, all food items are to be provided by the renter and disposed of properly, whether you eat them or you take them out. Okay, here's a new wrinkle. If you will be using the cook stove, some towns charge just a little extra, not much, for use of a kitchen. So what I've said in here, if you're using the cook stove, the town of Middleton or its designee will turn on the gas and turn gas on and off, because it's very difficult to find out where it is. And instruct the renter on the proper use of the stove. That's not, you turn it on and it fires up. A fee of $20 will be charged for such use. Adjustment of the thermostat is not permitted. Don't even want you to touch it, turn it up or turn it down. Renters are to provide their own food items, including eating and drinking utensils. So those are the type of those are the things that I've put in there. There may be some things that need to be adjusted in there or changed, but I thought the board could digest it and take a look at it and discuss it further. I don't think we need to make any decision right now. But,
Can we clarify this part?
okay, the
I
way
just wanna try to understand.
you try to tell me how this works, and I'm not sure how this works. Is it $80 if you're renting the hall every month?
Yep,
It's $80 a month.
yep,
If you're renting it twice a week a month, 2 times a month, it's $40 per week
no,
No.
for the month.
for the month. Okay, so.
Cause the more you rent it, the cheaper it is.
Okay, yes, okay. So it's $40 a month if you
If-
rent it
Every other week.
every other week. And if you rent it weekly, it's $20 a month.
Correct.
Okay.
Cause
So-
that's how Tops used to pay like $5 a week, cause
Yeah.
it was every Tuesday,
Yeah.
so we gave them.
So what I did with the people that have to pay $150, non-residents, I just upped it, just to cover
Right.
that. So,
Without getting into all the particulars, who owns upstairs?
town owns upstairs.
Not a church.
Nope.
Rent it out?
Yep.
Do these fees
Include that.
include that?
No, but we could add those fees in
Because
there.
if you're gonna charge extra for the kitchen, you should charge extra for the church.
Well, the chapel, you certainly could.
I
can certainly add that.
Doing it.
You could also make sure that that the renter understands that the chapel is not handicap accessible.
And considering the age of that chapel, would you consider having someone there during the time it's being used?
You could have somebody there to watch it, you could have a special, because up there, the hall downstairs is fine. It's not, it's historic, but it isn't. Upstairs is very historic, particularly with the amount of money that we spent on stabilizing the murals up there. So you could say, okay, if you're gonna use the chapel, it's gonna be an extra, $50 or $100 fee plus $100, even higher security deposit. Because if somebody gets up there and gets, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but somebody gets up there and starts banging around, they start hooting and hollering and blah, 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 and somebody damages the walls, that's not an easy fix, just go patch it, paint it. So yes, you could add that if they use the chapel.
That one might be where you'd want the insurance.
Yeah, on the chapel, you may want, if somebody, you want some kind of insurance, because that is a historic,
Neat place for a wedding.
and it certainly is, that place up there, if you haven't been up there, and I think everybody's been up there, it came out gorgeous. Came out-
Joanne?
Not to split hairs, but do you need to be more specific with the term local?
How so?
Some people
Local
think-
doesn't necessarily mean within the confines of Middleton.
Well, you could just eliminate local and say Middleton residents. Local, yeah, you could define it.
Like
What I'm
section-
trying to say is the building is,
Right.
when you say local, I would say, Middleton registered nonprofit organizations. Town of Middleton residents, you could eliminate the
Just
local.
playing devil's advocate because somebody's saying, look, well, I'm local, I'm right next door.
Yeah, but on the first one, the board of selectmen and their
Sure.
designee shall approve the use and users of the hall. So we could say, no, you're not going.
So when somebody goes in and rents or uses the kitchen, you're gonna have somebody come in, turn on the gas, turn off the gas, who's that person?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay,
You,
no,
thanks for volunteering.
no,
We'll find out who can, and
I didn't know if it was the gas company.
No, we're not gonna, we'll find somebody in the town that will be able to, do that and instruct them how to use it. I don't want somebody to go there and turn it on and blow the place
No,
up.
but
I
I
really
don't
don't.
want it to be him.
No, we'll find
Okay.
somebody, we can find,
Do or don't.
we
Do
can,
not,
we can find somebody that, we can learn how to turn it on,
okay,
and we'll turn it on. If it has to,
I'll train him.
yeah, if it has to be the selectmen, if it has to be from somebody from Public Works, then we'll get from somebody from Public Works. But we would have,
You're an hourly employee though.
wait a minute, we'd have to pay them, that's why the $20 fee is there.
I'm out.
If you had a maintenance man, that could be considered one of his
That's for
positions.
another night.
No, I'm just saying, that could be something that you could have your maintenance man
Certainly
learn
could,
and
yeah.
utilize as
But
needed.
yes, do you agree? I don't want somebody, I don't want somebody that
No,
doesn't know how to
I agree,
operate.
I just didn't
I
want
don't
it to
even
be
like the
him,
clicker.
that's all, he's
I don't
busy
even
enough.
like them lighting it that way. Cause if somebody turns it on, I don't know.
That's gonna be-
Boom!
The funny part is that anybody who wants to go use the ovens, they have no clue how to get in there.
That's correct, so,
None.
none whatsoever, so, I don't want it to go poof. That's the only thing. We've made it very accessible for the stove, but it's out of the way and safe, but it's accessible.
At some point, I want to clarify the word registered non-profit.
Well, I threw
What
that
do you
out.
mean by registered?
Well, like a Boy Scouts is a registered group.
No, I have, veterans groups that come down and use Hutchins Commons.
Well, yeah, but.
They're not registered.
No, but
They're
I'm
just a
saying,
bunch of,
so
veterans.
what would you call
I don't know.
them? Just civic organization?
Yeah.
Well, you could drop the local registered, if you remember in the first part, we were talking about, well, a 501c, that's a well, that's what we were talking about in the beginning, so I agree, we can drop that and just
Yeah.
say, civic organization, you could drop nonprofit for that matter, but I think nonprofit, you'd wanna, we don't allow for profit up there.
Right.
The only thing for profit would be a fundraise function for a town affiliated organization. Fire department, rec department,
Yeah.
whatever, Old Home Association, that type of thing, that's a local. So, yeah, we can adjust that out, I just can't put something together.
Well,
Okay, you can
Take a look at it.
A lot more detailed than what we had,
Right.
that's for sure.
I don't even forgot Junior.
Have you got Junior up there? Well, I just took it from you. That will be changed.
Just saying.
But I thought this would be a good starting point. Yes, it is more complicated than the other, but I think it
Well.
protects the building.
Probably good place to start.
Alright, so we need to, when we have it, we'll post it, we get the other three of us and get together, and talk about it during the day. Have it posted, people are welcome to come and listen.
Yeah.
Alright,
You want to schedule a workshop or, no?
yes. Town ordinances, another workshop.
Okay, yeah, this is another workshop. We had started on the town ordinances, and that's the town ordinances right there. I went through every one of them and I put them in order, and I think we need to go over those things and update them, change them, delete them, keep them the way they are. I mean, there's ordinances in here back to, 1970, and all I'm asking for is another workshop on here. You know, there's a thing in here that's very interesting, and I think we need a workshop to go into this further, and I don't think we'll be able to there's ordinances in here we can change pretty quick. I would like to look at the parking ordinance. I would like to look at the road obstruction ordinance, which has to do with snow left on a highway. Current ordinance says a substantial amount of snow. In other words, you can't push snow on a road. There's a reason for that. So that's unenforceable. Courts would throw us out. So most towns say no snow or anything on the road, period.
I'm fine, I
So,
understand.
no, I'm just saying. So, we're also, in conjunction with the town ordinances, we are looking at to provide our police department a means to issue a summons, a ticket in violation. So, on there is road obstruction. Fine for road obstruction is $50. But there's also $75 for the second offense and $100 for the third offense. There's also some towns that say, if your contractor does it, you're still responsible for it. Somebody says, well, my contractor will. Doesn't matter.
Your snow, your house.
Yeah, so, the reason we do that is people will push snow out across the road. The roads are treated for safety, and you upset that, and that could be a hazardous area if somebody comes back and you're plowed across the street. So that's why that is. The other thing that I wanted to point out in here, just quick, and then I'll shut up. There's an ordinance in here that was developed, signed off, I think it's still effective, 1992. Talks about alcoholic beverages. No person shall consume any alcoholic beverage, liquor as defined in RS 175-1, that's a definition, by the way, or in any of the following areas while within the town of New Hampshire, on any public way, a road, sidewalk, park, or the in front of the thing, or on any public body of water. So what this statute, what this ordinance says, is that you can't have alcoholic beverages on the lake, on a boat.
That one's gotta go, don't it, John?
Gotta go, because it's not illegal in the state of New Hampshire to have alcoholic beverages and an open container on your boat. It is illegal to carry open containers of alcoholic beverages in the passenger area. If you have an open container, you must put them away from the driver, meaning the trunk. You still can be BWI, boating while intoxicated. So I think, and it says in here, At any place to which the public or a substantial group has access to include the public way or body of water, beaches, parks, playground. I don't have a problem with beaches, parks, public parks, public places such as parks, like the beach we have down there, like we have an events over here, we don't allow alcohol anyway. But the state does allow for recreational alcohol beverages while you're on a boat. So the question comes up to be, how do you police that? Who's gonna, is the police department gonna go out there with a paddle boat and stop checking to see if you got alcohol?
You know, that'll be in the budget.
They'll probably want, just like the fire department, want a $10,000 boat.
Marine Patrol.
Marine Patrol does that. Okay, now, is Marine Patrol on the lake? Yes. Are they on the lake all the time? Yeah.
When you call them, yes.
Yeah, when you call them, they'll be there. So, this is something, we can look, but these are the type of things we get into. So, I've looked at all these things, I've looked at the fines that apply to them. Are the fines too high, are the fines too low? And these most of these ordinances can be, although there's some in here, they can be approved by, most of them are approved by the governing body. There are some, and I don't know right off the top of my head, there are some that have to go before the town. So there's a lot in here. There's junk, some of these are still good, they're just old. Unnecessary noise by vehicles, policy for regarding construction on highways. We have a new one, road weight limit ordinances, I don't think we need to adjust that one. We have, here's the obstruction ones, snow obstruction, parking. Right now, the law says, the ordinance says, no parking on town roads at all. I think that's unfair for the summertime, particularly on densely populated areas. People don't have a place to park, if they have guests. It just doesn't make sense. In the wintertime, I can see it. I don't think we have we don't have a snow emergency like from November to April. Most towns do.
Ours just goes all.
Ours just all the time, can't
That's
park.
why you're gonna change it, you're
Some,
gonna do at
what
least.
some towns do on roads that you can park on, they delineate which roads and which sides you can park on. I'm not trying to make it complicated, I'm just trying to make it, the way I look at this, trying to make it fair. For those who are interested, you can't store in our stockpile any biosolids, sludge, you can't do that. Also, another one, stock, chickens, poultry, pigs must remain on your property. If they get in the road, like your.
Run them over.
Free range?
No, we have
No,
free range.
free range on your property only.
Ours is gonna run.
So,
Which is a chicken across the road?
I would like to have a work session.
Why
would the chicken cross the road?
So, just to add to that,
Yes, sir.
now that we all have access to computers,
Yep.
okay? Laura has downloaded all these ordinances on the computer, so we can now, instead of printing these things out, we can go on there and all look at them at the same time and work on these things as we need to.
Yeah.
So,
I would
It's gonna make
also,
make it a lot easier for us.
yeah, I would also like, it depends on workloads and everything else, this is me, to, once we get these ordinances adjusted the way we want them adjusted and changed or not changed, to put them in the same font format. You can, and keep, you can, there's a way legally you can put a name down, even though the signature's in there, some little ditty you can put in there. And then they're all in a format lined up, because Laura did that, and that was great. She has, these are all the ordinances lined up. So if we put them in a category, and they're all in the same font, and everybody can read them real quick, and they're indexed, boom, 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 and they go online just like those are, then the residents can say, well, I didn't know I couldn't park there.
Yes, I agree with the workshop, but in general, do ordinances have a sunset law?
Unless you put it in. that I'm
So,
aware of.
how far back did you go?
All the ordinance I have, the oldest one I have is 1970.
I'm sure there were ordinances before then.
There could have been, but a lot of the ordinances, the oldest ordinances in here are, there's one ordinance in here that says, which one was it? You can't have, tar paper homes.
Hey, Brent, just in general.
Well, yeah, but some of these ordinance will say, and some of them don't, any previous ordinances related to this are superseded by this.
I'll bet there's an ordinance in 1905.
There could be. This is all the records, this is all the ordinances
Probably
we
one
have
about
a record
spitting
of.
on sidewalks.
You're right.
So, no, you're right, there's probably ordinances back there.
I agree, a workshop would be.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Well, there's a question.
yes.
You redo all these ordinances you're talking about, obviously not gonna be all enforced by the same party. Is it gonna be clarified who the enforcement party is for the ordinances?
You can generally say, yes, we should put in there generally who's the, because most of the ordinances will be enforced by the police department. There are some that will be enforced by
Code enforcement?
code enforcement.
That'll be clarified in the ordinance. that it's
Well,
written for.
you could.
So there'll be no question who you would get a hold of to enforce certain ordinances. Yeah.
All right, I have one old piece of business. And yes, I have not personally looked. Either of you look at Melanson's property?
Yes.
No, but I gave them a week,
I drove
so
by there.
that's tomorrow.
You talked to him?
I talked to him on the phone initially and said, he told me that he would take care of that by the weekend, this past weekend.
Okay.
So I'm
You
gonna go up
talked to
to
him or looked at it?
No,
No,
stopped
I did,
by.
I'm the only one that talked to him. I talked to him on the 29th, sometime in the afternoon,
Thank you.
and tomorrow I'll go up and see what's happened.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
Prior to the meeting, I spoke to Laura about an issue that's going around town about the bulk pickup tickets. A lot of misinformation that's on Facebook, there's a lot of allegations that on the face look valid, but further examination are probably not valid. I don't know if this can be addressed in an ordinance, or if it is somehow a policy can be publicized about when the things come out, when the tickets are distributed, and how they're to be used.
Isn't it on our website already?
I don't know, I didn't find it anywhere.
How they can be used, yeah, there's a flyer. There's a flyer posted of what you cannot put out
In
there.
our website?
Yeah.
So, I'm the first to admit, I'm not on Facebook, but I'm not sure how we as a governing body govern Facebook.
No, I'm
Well, you
not saying
can't.
you do, I'm talking about,
How do you correct what they say on Facebook? To me, it's a
Well,
whole
no.
bunch of rumors.
I understand, what I'm saying is that if there would be a specific place that these people can go to, does it specifically say somewhere on the website? I couldn't find it about, that they only come out in December.
No, it was on the December tax bill.
Yeah,
So,
I
Sir-
can add that, I mean,
sir-
that's not,
I think certainly when, and I wasn't here at the time, although I was in some meetings, I think when the tickets, the reason for the tickets first came out was to try to save taxpayer money. Because our bulk pickup was being abused, particularly that one year, got abused
it
heavily.
went from 15 tons to 70 tons.
Whatever it was, it just got excessive, okay? So, it would seem to me that, I think it was mentioned at the time, we're gonna try this system, it's not perfect. And maybe what we can do is, we had, I haven't been here all the time, but we, particularly today, we had a lot of people come in and say, or even last week, I didn't get my ticket. Everybody got their ticket on their tax bill, the December tax, or the November tax bill in 2017. They were hand stuffed. You have it, you either misplaced it, threw it out, don't know where it is, you got two.
And if the tax bill goes to a bank, you, the owner, still get a copy of
still
it,
get a copy
still
of the
get
tax bill.
stickers then.
Right.
We did.
So,
I'm aware of all that.
okay, let me finish, okay, so, in terms of that process, okay, maybe what we need to do is communicate that you're going to get 2 tickets on 1 tax bill, don't lose them. Because if you don't have them, we're gonna, we did charge $10,
I think
right?
it's 5 now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
now
did.
they're $5. And frankly, if people don't like doing this, we'll just eliminate bulk altogether.
Absolutely have no problem with that.
My only problem with that, it ends up on your road.
Well, I understand, there's consequences to everything
Oh,
that
yeah.
you do, absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, the bulk won't pick up tires, so those are the things you see, the bulk won't pick up computers. I remember going down up in Pinkham when I first got up here, and there was a computer monitor in there, and everything else was stuck in there for the longest time. There were tires in there.
I'm just-
Town's pretty clean, I would have to say now.
I'm just asking for some publicity from the town on an official website to
It's on,
clarify.
but it's on the town's website.
I know what you mean,
It's it.
I can revamp stuff and make
Yeah.
it like it's an all-time thing out there.
Okay.
This is how our trash works in Middleton, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah,
Got it.
and, you know,
Well, it's always the he said, she said, and.
well, I would say, and I know people are listening to this about comments like that. I think the board wants to do the right thing for everybody. We're not perfect. And if I don't go on Facebook, I'm not going on Facebook. The chairman doesn't go on Facebook, but that doesn't mean Facebook is bad. It's just, if somebody has an issue with something, please come to the meeting.
I just have.
I understand that, but I'm saying, if accusations fly and everything else, Facebook allows people to say things that maybe are an opinion, and that's fine, they have a right to do that, but if they want us to find out about it, please come to us and tell us. We're not perfect, and we're trying to do the best thing for the taxpayer overall. We're not trying to mess anybody up or make it difficult for anybody. We do what's best for everybody in the town. I think that's what the board does. So I implore, if there's a problem with anything, we're pretty open here. I mean, really open. So there's no reason if there's an issue, that you can't come, talk to the board civilly and express your views. We listen, we make changes. We don't know, what are we gonna do? So your point's well taken.
Just clarify certain issues that come to this room wouldn't be open like they have in the past.
Well, there should be some, this is my opinion. There should be civility in here when we come in here. Yes, you have a right to speak, but remember, Board of Selectmen's meeting is to do the Board of Selectmen's work. We want your input, that's what we're here for. We have one person here that works. I kinda work, but I don't work. He works. So there's somebody always around to try to address your question, or if something comes up, you can get a hold of it. I'm sticking around here, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go to Concord, I don't have to do anything. So we can address those questions, so.
It wasn't that long ago, they only had 1 meeting a month, instead of 3 a month. So, in the last 6 years or so, we've changed that, 7 years, we've changed
We used to
that,
have
to be more
once a-
accessible,
We used to have them once a week.
so.
Most towns, some towns have them every other week. We're pretty open, I
I
think,
mean, at least one of you I see every day, at least,
at least.
pretty much.
Yeah, so, you know, got issues? John's available,
Any question?
John's available, Joe's available.
I just had a statement, after bulk pickup, all the stuff that they don't pick up, I hope the residents go out and pick up their mess and not leave it there for like days upon days.
Well, So you speak.
Cause it looks horrible.
Well,
It looks
we have an
horrible.
ordinance. There's
There is an ordinance, I don't know how good it is, but there's an ordinance, you can't leave stuff on the road.
Good,
Are there penalties imposed?
Yes, there are penalties imposed on
cause
that.
it looks
It's
horrible.
older than dirt in there, but it's there.
Rick? Second, say something.
Just, I see you said that you're gonna skip 2 meetings, one of them meetings is a department head meeting, is that being canceled, or is the department head meeting gonna be on the 22nd?
No.
Canceled.
Okay, I'm done. On to-
Alright. Anything else, Joe?
So which
New
meeting
business.
is
That was
canceled?
on the pub,
The Columbus Day one.
Oh,
This is
okay.
Columbus,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
the
right,
third
no,
one.
right, then
Okay.
it's,
so that pretty much with public participation.
yeah,
Certainly
yeah.
has.
I kinda took it that way too, but I'll make a motion that we adjourn at,
Are we going into?
Yeah.
make a motion to adjourn the regular meeting at 8:10 and go into a non-public at 8:10.
As per,
As per showing RSA 91:A:3, subsection 2, paragraph 8.
Second.
alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
No problem, no.
Thank you, Joanne.